But think about this. These are the people that are actually getting diagnosed. I mean, most people who have NPD or even narcissistic traits aren't going to get themselves clinically diagnosed because by definition, there's a lack of self-awareness. They think it's everybody else's fault.
Right.
You know, they're the victim all the time.
All right, guys, Rebecca Zung here today, fellow podcaster and narcissism expert. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Absolutely. Yeah, you've been all over the place lately.
Yeah, well, that's this work, right? But it's all about making an impact and doing as much as you can to help people.
Right. Was the narcissism stuff how you started?
Well, I'm a lawyer by trade, you know, so I was practicing law up until a few years ago when I really started making it big on YouTube and through my courses and now my certification. And so that's really my full-time career now. And we also just rolled out a program for corporations, and I was actually just approved as a certified government contractor for the U.S. government.
Nice.
So now I can actually deliver programming to the armed forces, you know, military, to like Department of Defense, Department of Justice, you know, all of that as well.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, we'll dive into that.
Conflict resolution. So I'm really excited about that.
How common is narcissism in lawyers?
Oh, you know, it's interesting. When I wrote my book last year, I did find that there are certain professions that have a higher incidence of narcissism. And of course, lawyers was one of the high ones, you know, surgeons, doctors, they were pretty high up there. Also celebrities.
Definitely celebrities.
Yeah. Professional athletes, you know, so sure.
And entrepreneurs, right?
I mean, that was not specifically singled out, but I'm sure that, you know, certain CEOs, definitely CEOs.
CEOs, yeah. Because I have all my friends take the dark triad test.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of my entrepreneur friends score decently high in narcissism.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is a sliding scale. I mean, you know, there's narcissistic personality disorder, which is at the end of the spectrum. I always say it's like there's the end of the spectrum, which is NPD, and then the other end of the spectrum, which is, you know, Dalai Lama or Jesus or whoever your person is, right? And the rest of us fall somewhere in between. And it can actually even fluctuate with, you know, if you feel sick, you're tired, whatever, you're probably a little bit more selfish than you would be, you know, and not seeing other people. But narcissistic personality disorder is just a person who feels the most pain, the most shame, the most emptiness inside, the most insecurities. And because of that, they can't have empathy for anybody else.
Wow.
And so it's almost like having a toothache. You know, if you have a toothache, all you can think about is that pain. You can't think about anybody else in that moment. It's like that. And they have this complete emptiness feeling inside of them. They don't have any sense of their own self-worth. And so they have to get all of that from external sources. And I call it diamond level supply and coal level supply because there really are like two levels of it. The first level would be how they look to the world, image, reputation. And you know, that is where the celebrity piece comes from, or, you know, having a lot of money or having the, you know, if you're this old guy with this 25-year-old girlfriend or whatever, like it's all like kind of that. But then there's like the dark underbelly of narcissistic supply, which is what I call coal level supply, which is also very important to them. But when you go to negotiate, they're going to protect diamond level supply over this kind. But coal level supply is, you know, treating people poorly, pushing other people down to make themselves feel better. So it might be the put downs, it might be the gaslighting, it might be the smearing other people. That sort of thing. And so both kinds of supply are very, very important to a narcissist. But when you go to negotiate with a narcissist, how you create leverage is threatening that source of supply that's more important for them to keep than the supply that they get from manipulating you.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because you could use that as leverage in a way and actually come up on top.
That's the only way that you can, because otherwise they're going to continue to want to get that coal level supply from you, which is, you know, the game playing, the manipulating, the moving the goalposts. Most people think, oh, narcissists just want to win. Well, they do want to win, but they also want, it's almost like, they enjoy inflicting the pain. It's a game for them.
Wow. Are you able to identify if someone is a narcissist?
Now I can much more quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, of course, like anything at the School of Hard Knocks, I learned the hard way,
Yeah.
right? I mean, having to deal with them in different places in my family and my, as a business partner, different people in my life. And then, of course, as a lawyer, I saw a lot of narcissists come through as either clients or opposing clients or even opposing counsel or judges. But it doesn't necessarily, at the time, that most of the time that I was practicing, that word wasn't like a buzzword. But in the last few years, it's become a buzzword where everybody's a narcissist.
Yeah.
Everyone's
labeling their friends or their significant other or their ex.
Correct.
Or their boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just thrown around.
I
wonder what percentage people actually are.
Well, they say that 15% of the population, I did the research last year, so about 15% of the population has a personality disorder that lacks empathy. So they say under the DSM-5 that, I think it's like maybe 7% of people have NPD, and then there's another percentage of people that have bipolar or, other personality disorders that lack empathy. But then there's another sect, which there's an intersection of with high conflict personality, which, they may not necessarily be all the way to the end of the spectrum to be diagnosed, but they're people that just enjoy the game of conflict and they just kind of make trouble wherever they go.
Right.
And it's almost like a sadistic thing in some ways, I think, or something, I'm not really sure. But I think that there's definitely some overlap there. So if you take that and you say, okay, well, maybe is it 20%? Is it 25%? Who knows? But think about this. These are the people that are actually getting diagnosed. I mean, most people who have NPD or even narcissistic traits aren't going to get themselves clinically diagnosed because by definition, there's a lack of self-awareness. They think it's everybody else's fault.
Right.
They're the victim all the time.
Yeah, that's so interesting. There's definitely people that enjoy conflict. When I was in college, every time this kid got drunk, he would look to fight.
Oh.
Every time.
Yeah.
And I never even thought that could be narcissism.
Yeah, I mean, I knew somebody who would get people at a dinner party to the point of, almost in tears or something because he was just creating conflict. And then as soon as the person would be upset, then he would go, now we're having a conversation. Now we're into it. He actually was so not aware. He actually thought it was sort of fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're not even aware of what they're doing.
No, not always. Because, it's actually, this is something else I learned that you might find fascinating when I was doing my research, and that is where it all comes from. And it comes from trauma in childhood. And when we as humans are in survival mode, as you probably know, then we go into this fight or flight and adrenaline and cortisol kicks in and it starts to bathe our brain. And then we're in high alert. And when that happens on a regular or continuous basis as children, because of neglect or abuse or witnessing abuse or just, whatever feeling they had where they felt like they had to be in survival mode like that as a kid, then that cortisol actually can cause arrested development in the limbic system part of the brain. And so what happens is they're kind of almost stuck at 5 years old or 6 years or whatever age it is. And so while the prefrontal cortex part of the brain continues to develop, which is your thinking, reasoning, judgment, that limbic brain is not completely developed. And so what happens is when they get to be adults and they're triggered by whatever, but it's usually a loss of control, or they think they're going to be exposed, or they're going to look bad, or a loss of their kingdom in some way, then they will immediately be triggered. That limbic system is immediately triggered. And now it takes over the the prefrontal cortex part of the brain. It literally shuts it down.
Wow.
And so now you're just dealing with that. And usually the things that they're triggered by aren't necessarily reasonable or rational, but it's going to be, it could be an eye roll, a tone of voice, just some perceived slight, whatever that is. And so now you're dealing with this full-on emotion person who's whatever age they are, and they don't think from a place of being rational at that point or reasonable. And many times it's not even necessarily to their best interest. I mean, they will self-sabotage a lot of times, and they'll self-sabotage to get that other person. I mean, when I was practicing law, I was so perplexed that why is this guy saying I'm going to burn my business to the ground so I don't have to pay her alimony? Like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. But they would do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to self-sabotage too. So I didn't even think that could be narcissism. But yeah, when I would get in trouble growing up, I wouldn't eat.
Oh.
So I was super skinny.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you're already skinny.
Yeah, I know. I was already skinny. I was like 140, 150 pounds.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I would self-sabotage. And I would do that in friendships too.
Oh, I mean, I think, we all have some element of that. I've called my inner sabotager my saboteur. I figured I'd give her a French name so she's at least like elegant or something.
Alter ego.
My alter ego. Oh, no, you don't get to talk.
Yeah.
I'm in control here.
Yeah, because we're not doing what's in our best interest.
Yeah.
We're just being petty,
right.
being stubborn about it.
Exactly.
A lot of people have that.
A lot of people have that. But it's the narcissist who doesn't realize what they're doing because they just so much want to inflict pain on this other person.
Yeah.
And it's all because, and they don't see the impact. And that's one of the things that I really fully believe, and that is that narcissists will always overplay their hand because they don't see the long game. They're only like in it right now.
Right.
And so I've seen it many, many times in negotiations where they end up, self-sabotaging. They always end up kind of collapsing, losing control, whatever is going to happen.
Yeah, I could see that. Growing up, my Asian mother was very argumentative.
Oh.
And we used to always butt heads. And when I moved out of the house, it rubbed off on me.
Oh.
It took me a while to get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
I used to always try to argue with people for no reason.
Oh, that's so funny.
And even when I knew I was wrong, sometimes I'd catch myself in the argument knowing I was wrong. I wouldn't admit it.
But you wouldn't admit it.
Yeah.
And you do now.
Now I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah. And you're engaged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been married for 24 years. And I can just tell you that, you have to, it's a give and take. You have to learn how to really go, okay, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. I can see your side. I can see your perspective. It helps a lot.
Oh, it helps a lot, yeah. But just that awareness, the first step was huge for me because I wasn't aware that I was combative.
But, just the fact that you're sitting here admitting that is huge.
Took some time. I think psychedelics helped.
Yeah.
Kind of reset the brain a little bit.
It definitely helps.
Yeah. Have you dabbled with that?
I did one journey with that. I had what they call a shadow journey.
Shadow work, right?
Yeah, because I had to really confront the control aspect of my personality, which, of course, I'm half Chinese and half German, so I always joke that there's no fun genes whatsoever in there.
Yeah, definitely not with Chinese. Germans are pretty serious too.
Yeah, it's all organized and very efficient, and so I have this control aspect of my personality, which of course ends up holding you away from love, holding you away from being in your full capacity, and so that was the lesson for me.
Did you grow up in a controlling household?
Somewhat. I mean, my father was Chinese, and he had come here when he was 14. He went to Bronx High School of Science, Columbia undergrad medical school, very academic, and also, he became a doctor, very smart guy. And, he raised us the way he knew how to be raised, right? Which is pretty strict. And, if I get a 99, what happened to the other point? You know?
Yeah.
I have this Asian grading scale, which maybe you might, so I have a lot of cousins. And we came up with our Asian grading scale, which is A is acceptable, B is below average, C is can't have dinner, D is don't come home, and F is find another family.
Oh, yeah. That's so relatable. Yeah, my mom was pretty tough too.
Yeah. But
And
my dad was a great dad, I have to say.
Yeah, no, everything, because they used academics to escape poverty, so I get that perspective.
Yeah.
But I would purposely fail classes to spite my mom.
Oh.
That's where it got to.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage, yeah. I did it all the time.
Well, I mean, I kind of did it too. I mean, I got married at 19 the first time. I had 3 kids by the time I was 22. I had to go back to law school at night and everything as a single mom because, at first marriage, it was this guy. We were just too young. I mean, he's a great guy, but we were just not
So you did that to spite your parents?
Yeah, it was sort of like my way, my version of going, being a teenager or whatever, right? Yeah. But how crazy is that? Self-sabotage, total. But I love my kids, and I don't, regret that, of course. But, then I met my husband in law school. I mean, I was still young. I was still in my 20s,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, strict parents is like a double-edged sword, right?
Totally. I mean, it's good in a lot of ways. I mean, look how successful you are. I mean, and I have achieved a lot as well. But I mean, like what's the balance there?
Right. Here's what I've realized doing 1,200 episodes now. Almost everyone has some sort of childhood trauma, but it's kind of like on you how you want to.
It's how you respond.
Deal with it, right?
It's always how you respond. Yeah.
100%. Because some people, it eats them and they don't achieve the success they were destined to. And then some people use it as leverage, get to that next level.
Yeah. So Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, are you familiar with that book?
No.
Okay, so he was a Nazi. He was in the encampments, and his whole family had been murdered.
Wow.
And he wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning. You definitely need to read it. It's like one of those books, like it's like in everybody's like top 20 to read.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You got to read it. But he said between every stimulus and response, there's a space. And it's how you respond to that stimulus that makes the difference in your life. Because every single person is going to be who they are. And they all come from whatever perspective they come from. And to them, it's right. Right? I mean, everybody thinks that what they're doing is correct in that moment. I mean, that's from their perspective. It's from their, because of all the different things that have happened to them in their life, right? And so, but if you can kind of see, okay, I can see what's happening with this person. And I always say, put this invisible shield down around you, invisible bubble, become like Teflon, be like, Superman with the bullets off your chest or Wonder Woman with the bullets off your wrist, and be like, I can see that, you're angry, you're upset, whatever. We can have this conversation later. Like, I don't need to participate in whatever this is going on over here. Observe, don't absorb, respond, don't react. And so that you could just have that space, have that gap. I always say take an SOS moment, stop, observe, then speak.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people want to react instantly, right? If someone's angry or upset.
Right. But you want to take it personally. And so the other thing I always say is I always wear jade because I'm half Chinese, and but never jade. So never justify, argue, defend, or explain.
So never do that?
Never do that. Because if you're talking to somebody who's high conflict, argumentative, narcissistic, or whatever it is that's going on with them, and you don't even need to diagnose them, doesn't matter. But if this person is like in that state, they're not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
They're not going to go, oh, you know what, Sean, I really see your side now. I get it. I was totally wrong. You're the best. I really acknowledge you. They're not doing that. What are you doing over there?
Right.
With trying to justify yourself or defend or explain. What are you doing with that? Or arguing with them? You're wasting your time and your breath. And time is like the most valuable commodity we have on this planet.
Right. Yeah, you're not going to change their opinion on the spot.
Never going to change their opinion on the spot.
Yeah, certain players, I play basketball, and if someone's coming at me, I try not to fight back, honestly.
Yeah.
Who knows what that will lead to.
Right. I mean, it's like if there's like this push thing, and if you're pushing back, then, you continue to get that resistance. But if one person just says, and I'm not participating in your anger or your triggers or whatever they are, your triggers are your responsibility, not mine.
Yeah. Wow. So 15% of people have narcissism.
Yeah, well, some personality disorder that lacks empathy.
That's pretty high.
Yeah.
And that's just, what is that based off of?
That's the DSM-5.
DSM-5?
Yeah, and that's what psychologists use to diagnose.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty high. I wonder if is that just in America or is that a worldwide thing?
I believe that's worldwide. Okay. I mean, I think the DSM-5 is used, I don't know if it's only used in the United States or everywhere, but I believe it's worldwide.
Do you see, since you were younger, do you see the rates going up in narcissism and disorders?
Yeah. So actually, there's a study that Harvard Business Review just cited, and that is that there's been an increase in NPD by 30% since the 1970s.
Wow.
Between the 1970s and the mid-2000s, there was an increase in cases of NPD by 30%.
I wonder if social media played a role in that.
I definitely think so.
I think so too.
Totally.
Because that's like your second life these days.
Right.
Like your social media profiles.
Right. You have to post everything, and you have to, get a certain number of likes. You have to.
I've fallen for that too. Like even now, like when I don't get the views I want, I definitely feel upset. It's hard to fight that, right?
Well, I mean, I know for me, like having grown my YouTube channel as quickly as I have, it's like if I put out a video now and, 2 hours later it only has like 2,700 views or whatever, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is a really great topic.
First world problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, they've made those so like engaging. I'm on my phone 8 hours a day. It's really bad.
Oh my goodness.
I use it for work, so I kind of justify it for that, but still, like it's so addicting.
It is. Well, it's that dopamine hit. You get a dopamine hit from it, and that's what the most addictive hormone is. It's dopamine is the hormone of addiction, and so that's why people want to play Angry Birds, or they want to like it's the slot machine thing, where people sit here in Vegas, right, with the slot machine. Oh, I might get my 3 things in a row or whatever it is. But it's narcissists are actually have the same effect on humans, and it's because of the hot, cold. So with a narcissist, they are either in love with you and you're the best thing that ever happened to them, or your soulmates, or you're amazing, or whatever. Even at work, if they're your boss or your colleague or whatever, one day you're their best friend or the best person or whoever, and then the next day it's who the heck are you? Why are you so needy? Or I never said that. I never said I was going to pay you that money back. Or I never said I was going to, do whatever the promise is, and trying to make you think that you're crazy. And so what that does to your brain is Dopamine-Cortisol, because you're stressed,
Right.
Dopamine. Oh my God. Okay. This person loves me again. Oh no, they hate me, and so that causes actually an addiction to that person, and that's what actually causes the trauma bond.
Wow.
So it's actually physiological. So there was a psychologist out of Stanford named Robert Sapolsky who did a study on monkeys, and they had to play this game and hit this lever, and if they got it right every single time, and they got a reward every single time, then the dopamine levels in their brains remained flat, like there was nothing. But if they didn't know when they were going to get the reward, and they would push nothing. Oh, sometimes I do get it. Just the anticipation that they might get the reward caused the dopamine levels in their brain to rise to the level of.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just the anticipation?
Just the anticipation.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
So that's just how powerful the mind is then.
It's how powerful it is. And that's why narcissists have such an effect on people.
They do. I used to, when I was in high school and college, I would see these girls just go after these narcissists. And I always wondered why.
Yeah.
They got that effect on them, huh?
You have that effect.
Yeah, they used to love those toxic relationships.
Right.
going after the cool kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, and all those guys were narcissists. It's like they draw you in almost.
They draw you in with, the biggest, and they use mirror neurons to draw you in. And so they kind of mirror what you are, like your body language, your tone of voice, the way you speak, the things you like, everything they like, you like. Oh my God, you like eggnog ice cream? That's my favorite. It's like something super random, right?
Yeah.
But that's what they do.
No, they'll say whatever to get laid, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they want to get you to that next level as soon as possible to lock you down so that they can, because all of that is just a deposit. They want the withdrawal, and it better be more so than what they're depositing in.
Damn. So were you dating a narcissist in the past?
Oh, yeah, I definitely had, the experiences with them. And, and certainly in my family and friendship. I'm trying to keep my culture and my business clean, but, every once in a while, a narcissist still slips in there.
Yeah. It's one of those things because good salespeople, they tend to kind of have those traits, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's like a catch-22.
Yeah.
But if they're really good at closing, it's common to have some narcissism in there, I feel like.
Sure.
So it's like, damn, I want to keep this company culture intact, but it's tough because
It
one
is
bad
tough.
egg
Can totally poison the whole thing.
Yeah.
For sure.
But they're everywhere. Yeah, family, friends, business. It's almost unavoidable. So knowing your methods on how to deal with them is actually really valuable for people.
Yeah. Well, it's helped me so much, and it's now helped, through my programs. I have digital courses that are online. So I have a lower ticket one that's like $500. We've sold that to like 10,000 people in the world or more, probably.
That's crazy.
And then I have a certification, which I just launched last year, which we've certified more than 200 coaches so far on that. And then, what's great about that is I now have all these high conflict negotiation certified coaches who I can take with me on my team to do the corporate consulting.
Yeah. You're like the female Chris Voss.
Well, he actually wrote the foreword to my book.
Oh, he did? Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Small
Yeah.
world. He's one of my favorite guests that have been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is impressive.
So we did podcast swaps for each other, and
Nice.
he wrote the foreword for my book. He's a big supporter and believer in what I do. So
Yeah, he's awesome. I mean, this stuff can save business owners a lot of money. I could see the value in it.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because it's the risk mitigation, but it's also the sales side of things. So, I teach people some sales techniques. I was just talking to one of your team members over there about that.
Yeah, the psychology is super important. Because if you got the right product or service, it just comes down to this stuff. The sales process, right?
Totally. I mean, you want to be the most powerful, persuasive, influential person in the room, but you want to be from a heart-centered place. And the more you can be heart-centered and really deeply care about the person that you are working with or your community or the people at large, and you just really focus on results for them and making sure that they have the best experience possible or whatever it is. I mean, that's really one of the most important aspects of selling, to be honest with you. Because I truly believe that what I'm doing is a service and helping, and that I'm just a conduit from the universe to provide. And if you just do the right thing by the client, your customer, your community, the abundance will come for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very aware of that too. I've only had 2 refunds in the past 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I gave it to them right away.
Yeah, I had. It's so funny that you just brought that up because I just had my first one.
Oh, yeah.
Last week or something, and it was because I had a salesperson who had to leave, and so this person had like a little bit of a gap after she purchased between that and when the client service manager ended up contacting her.
Yeah.
And so she felt like the service here isn't very good or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's not how it is, of course.
Yeah.
But
that just shows the quality of your product. You sold tens of thousands and only 1 refund.
yeah.
And it wasn't even your fault.
No, I mean, and I really tried to get her back, and we even offered her extra time, extra services or whatever. But she was just like super spooked. And I was
Yeah.
like, just give her a refund. It's fine. Maybe we can get her back down the road.
It's better to do that because of the chargeback potential.
Oh, yeah.
And then you lose the
You don't
payment
want to have to deal
processor.
with that. Exactly.
Yeah, I've come a long way. I used to get a lot of chargebacks when I was in e-commerce, drop shipping.
Oh, well, that's a totally
and I was
different.
neglecting customer service.
Yeah.
So I've learned not to do that.
Yeah, Stripe will drop you like a hammer.
Yeah, and then you're on a match list.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
can't process anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I use a different processor now, which we can talk about offline and all of that. But I was just telling him I'm like become a total expert on funnels
Yeah.
and how to build a digital business. And so I'm going to be dropping a course for women entrepreneurs who want access to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, funnels used to be everywhere. Do they still work?
Oh, of course they do. Because, if you bring somebody in either at a free level or a $7 level or $47 level, and they've already opened their wallet, then psychologically now they feel like tied to you. They feel like they trust you.
Right,
It
especially if
becomes
the
their
product
own
or
thing.
service is good.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
the key where people neglect, I feel like. A lot of people will get you in, but maybe it's not the best product or service. So,
Yeah, I mean, most people aren't going to go and spend $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 with somebody that they really don't know at all.
right, it's a tough sell.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I can say for me is a lot of my audience has been organic. I mean, all of my audience has been organic, but my purchasers have been organic, and so they've watched like thousands of hours of my YouTube videos already, and
Right.
so they feel like they know me, they feel like they trust me already, and so that helps. But if you're going to try to run cold traffic, which we just literally started doing recently, and the person gets on and they're like, "Oh, I don't know who she is. I've never heard of her." Like you gotta warm them up a little bit.
It's a way harder sell, yeah. That's why I think podcasting and content helps a lot with creators.
Tremendously. Yeah, tremendously. And I selected YouTube because YouTube is, an SEO engine, really. I mean, most people think of YouTube as like, oh, it's the other social media. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube. But YouTube is actually a search engine.
Yeah.
It's actually the second largest search engine owned by the first largest search engine in the world.
Wow.
And so if you really master YouTube, you get free SEO, and that's all of my Instagram, my Facebook, all of that's completely organic because of my YouTube. And I like my podcast, I was only just sort of like repurposing my interviews over there. I wasn't really paying much attention to it. And then somebody said, "Oh, look on, I think it was Libsyn or something like that." I can't remember which one it was, but there's one of those podcast websites where you can look up to see like where you stand. And I was like, "Oh, I'm in the top 0.1% of podcasts." Oh, it's crazy. How did that happen? Oh, because of the SEO.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read Mr. Beast's SEO guide. It got leaked. Did you see this?
No.
A month ago, his guide on when he hires employees, he gives them a guide.
Oh.
So that got leaked.
Oh my gosh.
And it's like how to rank your YouTube videos higher and get more views.
Oh, I would definitely need to check that out.
I'll send you it. But
Yeah.
I've implemented some of the things. It's been really helpful.
Oh,
So
yeah.
watch
definitely.
time is really important.
Watch time is king.
So I've been lowering or shortening my episodes.
Watch time is king. So 2 times a week, we actually release something called a mashup, which is where we take a lot of episodes and we push them together, like the top quotes of it or whatever,
Yeah.
and we create a content around that. So it's like it might be, how to win in court against a narcissist or something. But there's like I've already done like 6 episodes on something similar. So
Yeah.
what they do is they take like the most highly viewed sections of those how you can look and
Yeah.
see, and then they push them together and make it like an hour and a half.
Wow, that's brilliant. I've
yes.
seen Evan Carmichael, I think.
Well, I was coached by Evan for like 2 years. That's where I got it
I
from.
used to watch all his videos.
Yes.
Those compilations of the top 10 things this guy said.
Yeah, so Evan is the one who helps me with creating my
Nice.
mashups.
So
Yeah.
that still works. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause he's been doing that forever.
Oh my God. I mean, it's probably half my revenue in
Whoa.
the past year because of the mashups.
So I need to start doing that because I got
You
so many
definitely do.
episodes.
Totally. So just take like, if you have several people who've talked about how to build a business online or people about negotiating or whatever it is, then you take those episodes and you pull them all together and make one viral title, stop doing this and negotiating, or this is the only way to win, or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you will just create a bunch of episodes together, like,
Good to know.
push a bunch together, and we call it a mashup, and then make it at least 90 minutes. I mean, you can see Lewis Howes does it, and he's got like 3-hour ones on there. Yeah. But people will sit there and watch, they'll listen, and that increases your watch time, and that helps your algorithm, and it also helps your revenue.
That's good to know. I'll definitely do that. Yeah, those motivational videos you could watch for hours straight.
100%. And if you take like the most viral sections of all of your interviews and put them together into one subject, it'll do so well for you.
That's so smart. How much do the titles matter, you think, of the video?
Everything.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really good at that, as you can tell.
I need to learn from you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use AI right now, but I don't feel like it hits. You know?
It's okay. Like sometimes, I'll use some of that just to kind of give me some ideas, but
You manually do it for the most part?
well, I'm always massage it because, I've been doing this for years now.
Yeah.
So I have a good sense of what's going to work and what's not.
That makes sense. And how quick does the video rank once you upload it on the search engine?
Always. Like as soon as I upload it,
Really?
I'm always
And it'll
ranking.
show up as at the top?
It's like 1 or 2 always.
Whoa. That's really impressive. Because I'll look up my guests and then podcast, and I'm never in the top 5.
Oh, I'll show you how to rank. You have
Really?
to use the right keywords, how to so I use TubeBuddy, I use Keywords Everywhere, and then there's a new one that we just started using. I can't remember the name of it,
Do
but
you use those keywords in the tags or in the description?
both.
Oh, both? Okay. So that's probably where I'm not doing either. So
Yeah.
my team uploads it, and I don't instruct them
I'll
on.
show you how to do it. I'll show you
Okay.
how to do it.
Yeah, that'll probably help a lot.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we upload a lot, so that's affecting the views, but I just got to catch up. So.
No, upload. YouTube wants you to upload a
really?
lot. Yeah, they do, but they're trying to figure out who you are.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure okay, this is my niche. So it's digital social hour. So what is your niche? Is it how to create digital courses, digital programs, how to negotiate?
Yeah.
Is it what's your sort of niche? Is it lifestyle? Is it for entrepreneurs? And so once YouTube kind of figures out who you are, then it'll start showing your content. So you want to show up both in search and suggested. So search is like your original one, but suggested is like somebody's watched something similar, and then now you show up on the side.
Got it.
Yeah, so you want to show up in both.
That makes sense. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really love YouTube. I think it's probably the most important social media platform right now.
To me, I've built a multi-million-dollar business off of it.
Right. Same. I think Instagram's great for DMs.
Yeah, so we just started a DM strategy with that because, I have 2 setters now on my team. And so they've really been using that. And, and I have like a chat feature, so if people comment certain words, then
Yeah.
it'll go to the DM and they'll get automatic messages and things like that. Because, as you can imagine, just like you.
You get hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you got a viral video.
Yeah.
Thousands of comments.
Yeah. Or I do a really good interview, like when I did Mel Robbins or Ed Milet or whatever, it was like, oh my God, my team could not keep up,
Yeah.
How'd
How'd you prepare for those? Those are some big ones.
I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life. I've been a trial lawyer for 20 years. You know, I had to think on my feet a lot in court. So I just think that, the funny thing about Ed Milet is when I did him, I didn't really realize who he was.
Oh, you didn't know him?
No.
Wow.
But friends of ours are really good friends of his. And so they introduced me and he had me on. And, I saw that he had a lot of followers. But, you never know, are they real? Are they bot? Right?
Everyone's got bots.
Yeah. And so.
Part of the game.
Right. And so
Kim
I
Kardashian
wasn't.
has half. Crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, so I didn't know. And so it was really only after I did the episode and, everything was coming in that I realized, oh, okay. this is pretty crazy.
He's got a great show. I used to watch every episode growing up.
Yeah. And, now I've met him several times and everything. He's a great guy.
Yeah. And Mel, too. I think she's #1 in her category, if I believe.
Yeah. I know that for sure. And my episode so it came out at the end of November last year, and it was the top one already for the year.
Whoa.
And so she made it her like New Year's things to do, things to watch, or whatever, as her top 8 episodes. I was in there again.
I love that.
Yeah.
I need to make that list for my audience, top 8 episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe top 10 since I have so many.
Yeah. And so she like recommended it for her, like the New Year's, like these are the things you need to do for your life.
Yeah.
And so I got another hit from that. And then she like started like chopping it up into like 10-minute segments and using it that way as well.
Smart.
So I actually just started doing that, like the 10-minute segment or 12-minute segments from a long interview, because that definitely helps.
I see Patrick Bet-David doing that too, and Tom Bilyeu.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 to like 15-minute segments.
Exactly.
Because people's attention span to watch a full podcast front to end is pretty rare these
right,
days.
but then if they like it, they'll go back and watch the whole thing. So you put in the comments, in the description, go back and watch the full episode here or whatever.
Right. Yeah, because if you want to send someone a piece of the podcast, it's hard to send them the full thing and then tell them where to go to. But if you send them a clip, it's more digestible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I'm really excited about the future of podcasting.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, you're killing it over here. I feel like I need to spend more time on really being purposeful about my podcast.
I mean, you're getting 80,000 downloads an episode. You're already killing it.
Oh, I'm doing well, but I feel like I should be more purposeful about, okay, let me bring on really high-level guests. I mean, I've had a lot of high-level guests.
Yeah.
But
with those numbers, you could get almost whoever. So you just need the right person on your team to do some outreach with the right script.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Yeah, because 80K, that's more than top 0.1%. That's got to be 0.01%.
Well, it may be now. Yeah, I mean, it went up a lot. I got up to that number because, I mean, we took a hit. Like Apple did something.
Yeah, everyone took a big hit this year.
I took a massive hit at one point, and then I'm back up now. Like it went down to like 40 or something. I was like,
which is still good.
Yeah, but I was like, what the heck is going on over here?
I'm getting like 40K a day right now.
Yeah, oh, that's amazing. That's really great.
Yeah, 500K a month, which
that's huge.
It's good because you could get a lot of sponsors, a lot of guests.
Yes. Oh, I have good sponsors. So when I went to this particular agency to help me get sponsors, I have quite a few good sponsors now.
Is it Libsyn ads or?
No, it's Hala. Yep.
Hala. Hala. Yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I'm going to get her on the show actually soon.
Yeah. So I'm with her. And she has a lot of big names on her roster as well. But, because of that, I do have pretty good sponsors now.
Nice. Well, what's next for you, Rebecca?
I just continuing to grow the programming with the for women entrepreneurs and also for corporations. And for all people who are, feeling like they want to negotiate in a higher level, it's really about your own feeling of self-worth. That's what it is for me, and it's empowering people to take back their power and take back their agency and not be at the effect of whatever's going on, because there's always going to be difficult people in the world. Mm-hmm. They're not going away.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll link below your course and everything and your social media profiles.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys, if you feel like you're dealing with a narcissist in your life.
Or anybody, you want to negotiate more powerfully, you want to just be in your own power, your own feeling of self-worth. And it's really about becoming the best version of you, the you that was meant to be, not the you with all your trauma. Don't let your trauma do the picking. Don't let your trauma do the talking.
I love
something I always say all the time. You and you alone define your value, and people will think what you tell them to think. People will be enrolled in how you tell them to be enrolled. You create, you design.
It's powerful. Yeah. Check out the link below, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.